Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am wearing the same shirt that I wore when I did my first, more like my second video almost a year ago. I've officially been on keto for a year and a week, so I figured it's time to do my 1 year keto-versary video. And this is what I was wearing in that video. I'll insert some pictures. It's like a screenshot from that video. I'll insert like a side-by-side of me sitting here. And then I got pictures from when I was actually standing up wearing this, so you can see the difference. I mean, I could probably fit two of me right now in it, even though 108 pounds is a lot. I would say this is going to be a little bit more in depth because I want to go through things I've learned, things I've gone through, how I feel about keto, any lessons I have, any tips I have, just a little bit of random stuff here and there, and everything that I can try to give to you guys to help you at all in any way. So here we go. Okay, so I've got some stuff on my phone because I wanted to try to remember exactly everything I wanted to talk about. So I officially started the keto way of eating on January 13th, 2019. And my husband, he's the awesome person that he is, he joined this journey with me. And if you haven't watched my video introducing myself, my very first video, go back and check that out and you'll learn a little bit about my journey. I'm not going to go back over it again, but basically I've always been overweight. I've always had issues losing weight. Anytime I could lose weight, I'd lose about 30 or 40 pounds and then I'd stall and then never could lose any more. And so I would give up and then gain weight back plus more every time until I ended up at 300 pounds. So a little over a year ago, I weighed 300 pounds and I decided to start this way of eating after I'd done some research on it before and kind of dabbled in it a little bit before, and I knew that it worked, but I needed to learn more. So I did a lot more research and decided to start again. So basically my overall opinion of keto is it's amazing. It works. And it doesn't even have to be full-blown keto for it to work. I've always done dirty keto, which means I do still have some stuff that's processed. I do use some of the ingredients that some people don't necessarily prefer if you're strict keto. If you're strict keto and you want to do basically just natural whole foods, obviously that's the healthiest way to go. But when you're 300 pounds, you're going to do what you can to lose what you can and to get healthy. That keeps you from struggling as much as possible. So basically, after about 3 to 4 months in, I kind of stalled a little bit, and then I did some more research, realizing, okay, some people, of course, I've got to be that person. When you get to a certain point, you have to lower your fats a little bit. So that's basically where I got to. I was doing a lower fat version of keto, which I know keto is all about high fat, but if you're eating too much fat, your body's gonna burn off what you eat instead of the fat on your body. So, but that doesn't happen with everybody. There's a lot of people that can still do high fat keto and lose weight and do great. But basically I had to change up 3 or 4 months in to a lower fat version. And I've done great ever since. And I would say with my first holiday season, it went well. I found a bunch of recipes to use that worked great. You know, pumpkin pie, we found rolls, and you know, it's just desserts. There's so many possibilities out there that you can find that you can make a low carb or a keto version and not miss out on a lot of the things that you used to have before keto. So one thing I can say for sure is I never thought I would be here. A year later, I never thought I could lose 100 pounds, much less 108, and in a year. I mean, it still hasn't completely sunk in. I still have that body dysmorphia. I still see myself in the mirror, and even though I know I'm smaller and I see that I'm smaller, I still feel big because I still see all my flaws. And you're not supposed to compare yourself to other people, but I see other people that weigh what I weigh and they look so much smaller, and you're not supposed to do that. Don't do that. But it still goes to your head. You still see that. You know that, why do I still look this big? But everybody carries everything differently with their weight. Everybody's proportions are different. Your height's different. And I realized I've got short legs, so it's just all my weight's in the middle, and that's still where all my weight is. I had some huge arms. They've gone down a lot. But one thing I will say is I wanted to tell you that shirt sizes. I'm going to insert a picture here of the shirt that I have on now, which is what I started with. It's a 26-28 or like a 4X. And that was my 300-pound size shirt. And the shirt laying on top of it is a shirt that I just purchased. That's like I think it's an extra large or 16-18. But you can see a big difference there. So that's crazy to see it on top of each other like that, like a comparison. And then pants wise, I was anywhere between a 24 to, I'll say probably about 24 pants wise, but I always wore stretchy pants. I still prefer stretchy pants because of, I have a muscle in my side that tight pants irritate. But I went from a 24 or a 3X in pants down to a 16 in pants or extra large or a 1X, and actually found some jeans yesterday at Goodwill that were 14s. They were a little snug, but they fit. So, I mean, they weren't too tight. So I'm down to that. Basically 14, 16, extra large from a 3X, 4X, 26, 28. It's a big size difference. But then when you're talking about 108 pounds, that's quite a few sizes. And even my feet, I had to buy new shoes. After I lost about 60 pounds, I had to buy new shoes because they were stretched out. I never thought I had fat feet, but your feet have weight there too. I never fasted. I'm not a faster. I've never been one of those people that could go, I can't get up in the morning and go an extended amount of time without eating. My body has always been the type that if I don't eat within a very max amount of a couple hours of getting up, I'll feel nauseated and I just won't feel good at all. And it doesn't matter what I eat. Or, when I was eating normal food, the terrible, sad, standard American diet, or keto or low carb, it doesn't matter. I just not good at fasting, and not everybody can. I know it does help. If I was able to have been fasting, I probably would have lost even more, but I just can't. I'm not a faster. And then after I did the lower fat version, I found a couple of people and learned more about higher protein. It almost boils down to Atkins, basically. But there's a specific calculations for someone depending on their age and things like that. Well, not age. I think it's height. But I'll link everything below on everybody, that I recommend checking out. And if you're at a point where you need to lower your fat and raise your protein up a little bit, things like that, I'll link that stuff down below as well. But there's some great people to check out. My mind is bad with names, and at this moment, they're not here. But I'll link it all below, I promise. I also did not exercise. I will say that I had tons of energy. My energy's up. I'm always wanting to move around and get out and about. My husband and I will go out and we'll walk. And when it was warmer, we did a lot of walking a week and a half ago. We went out, or a week ago, and we ended up walking like 6 miles. And it's a train. We have train tracks near our house. We ended up walking like 6 miles, and I felt fine. The next day I was sore, but I felt fine. It's amazing to be able to walk any amount of distance. And I've always been one of those people, I could walk an infinite amount of time pretty much, and not get too winded. But inclines and things like that would always kill me. But I would still have to stop and take a break every now and then. And during that whole time that we walked 6 miles last Sunday, we stopped once. And that was like 3/4 of the way through. So, I mean, it's great to not be exhausted and just to be able to go walk around, you know, and not feel like you are weighing yourself down and just can't do anything. I have more energy. I want to do more. I always say I'm thinking about doing more as far as like exercises and stuff go, but I'm not really 100% sure on what exactly I would like to do. I'm going to insert a picture also of my wedding ring, or the size of the ring I was wearing at 300 pounds versus the size of the ring I'm wearing now. I was wearing a size, I think it was like an 8 or 8.5 on my ring finger, and now I'm at a 6. So like every 50 pounds is like a ring size. So that's crazy, but I'm going to do a picture of that as well. I also do not test ketones. I've never peed on a stick for ketones. I've never tested my blood. I don't buy pricey meters and testing equipment because honestly, I feel like it's a waste. Now, if you're one of those people that you end up being extremely sensitive to certain things and you're needing to try to figure out what affects you, then yes, I recommend that, because you can learn what affects your glucose levels and, you know, all that stuff because of, you know, specific things causing you to stall. So that's very helpful for that. But just starting out, the main tips I have for you is get rid of all of the processed crap in your house. All the wheat stuff, all the crackers, all the bread, anything that has sugar in it, especially like sweets and cereals and things like that. Now, if you live in a house where you have other people that are not following this way of eating with you, it can be very difficult. I mean, we do have the kids, I don't know, maybe half of the year they're here, like they're in the summertime and the breaks and stuff. So they don't always eat keto or low carb. So there are sometimes things around here that they eat, sometimes like Pop-Tarts or normal white bread they'll eat. But I've never been a big bread person, so it wasn't really that difficult to go without things like bread. My problem has always been sweets. So I've found keto versions of things to make sweets wise, and I have over time realized I prefer the coconut flour over almond flour, plus it's cheaper. And some people have issues with almond flour. They realize that it affects them. But just basically get rid of the sugar, get rid of the breads, and, you know, just try to eat as much like meat and cheese as possible. You don't have to slather everything with butter. You don't have to put butter in your coffee. You don't have to do all this crazy stuff that people, you know, say, oh, you know, beef and butter fast and butter in my coffee. And I've always been, I mean, I tried the butter in the coffee thing just because I was like, you know, I love creamy coffee, and they're like, oh, okay, it helps it creamier. So I tried it. Not for me. My guilty pleasure is coffee, and it has to be sweet and it has to be creamy. And it took me a really long time to get away from using a ton of heavy cream, because that was my go-to for creaming. To use like almond milk. And then now I'm back at a point where I'm using some heavy cream, but I'm not using a lot. and the skinny syrups by, you know, there's a lot of people that make the sugar-free syrups for your coffee. And my favorite sweetener is always going to be erythritol. So I use that when I'm cooking, when I'm baking. We eat a lot of chicken. We eat hamburger. So like we kind of cycle through chicken and broccoli, chicken fried cauliflower rice, taco chicken, and then I'll use the taco chicken with low carb wraps to make chicken enchiladas. That's like my all-time favorite thing. We do keto chili, which we just did last night, taco soup, and then we even did like pot roast with, you know, everything that you would include in a pot roast, like the little baby carrots and onions and stuff, except we use radishes for potatoes, and they tasted just like potatoes. It was great. So, I mean, there's so many things you can do. All of my stuff is linked below. I've got a Pinterest page and a Facebook page. I post everything on Instagram that when I can. I try to post everything that I eat. But my husband and I had pancakes this morning, you know, or technically I made them in the Dash waffle maker, but it was a pancake mix. And I threw a couple of Lily's chocolate chips in mine with some sugar-free syrup. And I don't feel like I'm missing out. I really don't. And there's so many people that have said, gosh, how do you do it? I can't do without this, and I can't do without that. I'm like, to me, it has not been that hard. And I don't know if it's just me, but I've heard a few people say that too. But lately I have let some extra carb days sneak back into my diet a little bit here and there, like once a week. My husband and I might go get breakfast, and I might actually have a biscuit. But I'm at the point now where I'm under 200 pounds and I'm comfortable with my body, and I'm not pushing myself that hard. So I actually slacked off on doing my tracking. That's another thing I definitely recommend, is finding any kind of an app to track your macros. A lot of people use Carb Manager. I have heard that there is like a pay option on that, which I don't know what the difference is, but I don't use Carb Manager. I use Baritastic. It's Baritastic, and it's completely free. And you can enter your own information for making recipes in there. I still struggle with food addiction. I still struggle with wanting to eat. I actually had a week this past week where I felt like all I wanted to do was eat. And I'm probably going to be up a pound or two tomorrow when I do my weigh-in day. Because I mean, even though it's all keto-friendly things, I just feel like I've been stuffing my face, and my fat's been too high, because fat makes me gain. I have too much now. So, but I mean, once you're a food addict, it's just like any other addiction. It's always going to be there. You just have to overcome it, and it's a mind over matter thing. Just like the body dysmorphia is in your mind. You have to realize that that's not who you are, just because you still see yourself that way. And if you have an issue with eating too much sweets, if you make keto versions or low carb versions, try to do smaller portions, measure things out, and stick stuff in the freezer, because it's really hard to go eat something if it's in the freezer, you know, if it's frozen. Or do a smaller batch. Like this morning when I made the waffles for us. The normal batch makes a ton, and the last time we ate too many. So this time I split the batch in half, and it made 3 of the little mini Dash waffles a piece for me and my husband. So it was perfect. But you'll learn over time what tricks work for you, what you need to do for yourself, what's a trigger for you. You just have to kind of learn as you go. And a lot of times you can learn more from tons of YouTubers. There's people who have some amazing daily vlogs that show everything that they eat. I did some vlogging every day in August. That was interesting. I honestly give props to you guys out there that are daily vloggers, because there's a lot involved in that. I had to remember every single time I put anything in my mouth to video it. And then you have to put all of that together daily. It's a lot of work. And I don't have my channel here to make money. I don't have my channel here to be discovered by some of these people that are always getting free things and being sponsored. I'm not here for that. I'm here because I initially started videoing everything because I wanted to document my journey. And I also, when I realized that it was such an amazing thing and it was working, I said, I got to share this information. That's the way a lot of us in this keto community are. We want to share our journeys. We want to share the information and get it out there that we've been eating so incredibly wrong for years. And there's a lot of people who have cured a lot of illnesses by eating this way. And it's the way that we ate thousands of years ago. Dr. Berry is my absolute favorite keto doctor. I'll link him below as well. And basically he's almost completely carnivore now. He doesn't really eat anything except for like meat and cheese and eggs. And at some point I may end up going to that. I do love my meats. And like yesterday we went to an Asian buffet where I ended up basically just eating a lot of chicken, and there was some shrimp. I ate a ton of shrimp. I had been wanting some shrimp for a while. They were a little bit battered. They had that tempura batter on it, which is not as bad as some batters, I think, if I remember correctly. But, you know, a little bit of battered something once in a while is not going to kill you. A little bit of this and there, you know, if you have a day where you're at an event and you have no other option other than to eat something that's battered or whatever, you know, it's not the end of the world. Just make your next meal keto. Make your next meal the way you need to be eating. You don't have to break yourself down and make yourself feel bad because of one meal. And there are occasions where I will have cheap bites. There's people that do this too. Like if my husband and I go out and we go somewhere where he ends up with fries, I might have one or two fries. Just be like, okay. You know, and it almost will satisfy that thing in your brain. He's like, man, I can't have that. I used to eat that all the time and I can't have that. I want that. But if you can give yourself a taste, I don't recommend it if you have an issue with binging. Like if you feel like you start to eat something and then you can't stop, don't do that. But if you feel like having a bite or two of things that you crave would help you be like, okay, I've had some, I'm good, then that's fine. I mean, everybody, keto your own way. That's the way it has to be, because everybody's different. Everyone's bodies react differently. If you're on one of these groups or pages on like Facebook and all they are keto police and all they want to do is say you're doing it wrong, this isn't keto, that's not right, leave. You don't need that negativity in your life. You already have enough to deal with trying to get yourself healthy, trying to do the right thing every time you put something in your mouth. Don't deal with that. You keto your way and you figure it out, and listen to those who want to help you. Don't listen to those who want to put you down and tell you you're doing it wrong, because all it's going to do is make it harder on yourself, make you harder on yourself, and make you feel like you can't do anything right. Because most of us have self-esteem issues anyway, because we are or have been larger or large women or men, you know? I mean, you being a bigger person most of the time, you're going to have self-esteem problems. I still have self-esteem problems, but I've gotten better. The last thing I want to talk about is, well, one of the last things, loose skin. Yep, it happens. The one that I see the most and I notice the most because it's the most visible is under my neck right here. This has actually gotten better, but you can see it. You can see that I have excess skin right here, but I do feel like it has been tightening up. I see so many people that have lost so much and like under their chins like not me. And then I can't really show you in this, but because it's so big, you can see there's still fat there though that's underneath my arms, but my arms were huge. My arms were my second problem area besides my gut. I do have a little bit of loose skin, like in my thighs. My stomach still has weight, so I don't really have excess skin there, but I can see it a little bit in my arms. I can see almost like wrinkle creases, you know, when I have my shirt off. And my boobs have deflated, basically. Girl talk. I was like a C cup, and now I'm probably barely a B, and they're flat. They're like, they were never perky to begin with, but now they're just kind of, they're sad. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. I've never had a butt to begin with, and what little bit I had there is a little saggy now. But I'm almost 42 years old. I don't expect it to be springing back to life, especially when I've been overweight my whole life, ever since I was a small child. I've been overweight, so I don't expect my skin to spring back. Not to mention, you know, losing weight and gaining weight multiple times over my lifetime. And then the last couple of years being 300 pounds before I started losing weight. That doesn't help, you know. Your skin can only do so much. And a lot of people take collagen. I did have some collagen pills I was taking for a while, and I can't say that I really saw a difference in anything with them, because I had like a 3-month supply, and I felt like it was a waste of money to buy more because I don't feel like it did anything for me. A lot of people say that it does help. It helps with skin, it helps with hair. But I'm the kind of person, except for buying magnesium and buying some extra things for like my sodium and stuff for my electrolytes. Yes, yes, yes. That's something we all have to have. And most of us can't go without having some extra electrolytes, so you definitely need that. But I mean, I don't buy anything extra to take except for that. And you know, there's like a powder I make a drink with once a day. Sometimes I don't even do it every day, once every other day. That's got like extra potassium and sodium and stuff in there. And then I take magnesium pills. But other than that, I don't recommend it. You know, you don't have to go out there and buy all these things. Don't go out there and buy all this stuff that says it's keto, because they have figured out that that is such a popular thing now. They want to get on the bandwagon and sell something because it says keto. Don't just jump on that. I do recommend, if there are products that I recommend for food, even though they are processed, Atkins does have a lot of good things. There's snack bars and meal bars and shakes. I still drink the shakes for breakfast because it's easy. And they have snack bars that I'll have for like a dessert. So I do recommend Atkins stuff. And in the beginning, I was eating their lunches. You know, the microwave lunches. When I first started out, because it was easier for me than having to try to prepare stuff at home. I didn't have to sit there and decide what I needed to make, because I knew that it was already low carb enough. I just tried to find the lowest of the low carb that they had available, and I could just take it to work and I could microwave it, and I feel like I'm eating a normal microwave meal for lunch, you know. So I do recommend Atkins. I recommend Quest. Quest bars are great, and I'm not the kind of person to eat a whole Quest bar at one time unless I'm using it for a meal replacement. Usually I'll have a quarter of a bar or half a bar if I have one, and it's like a snack or something. I eat a lot of pork rinds too. A lot of people recommend the Quest pizzas, but I've not tried them yet. If you're an ice cream person, Rebel, Enlightened, Halo Top. Actually, Enlightened just sent me, they contacted me on Instagram about trying their keto ice creams. They're going to send me their keto ice creams to try out, so I'm excited about that. I will be doing a video for that for sure. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. You can do your research on YouTube. All you have to do is Google review this product, and you'll be able to see what people think. And a lot of people even go through ketone testing and stuff, and glucose testing, you know, when they eat certain things, because some people want to know that. But everybody reacts differently to stuff, so you can't always go by how it affects someone else versus how it will affect you. But Obviously, the best thing you can do is keep it as simple as possible without processed things, but in the beginning, it's going to fall off way quicker just by lowering your carbs and getting rid of the sugar and the wheat and the breads and all that stuff. And then the more you lose, it's going to slow down, which has happened to me. But I've also become content with where I'm at, and I need to get back on my strict tracking. And as far as meals go, my husband and I will usually make like a big batch of something, and we'll eat off of that for several nights in a row for dinner. Like the chili we made last night, we ate for dinner last night, we will eat that for dinner tonight, and then again tomorrow. So it feeds us for several days, so you don't feel like you're constantly cooking. And that is the one thing that you do have to do a lot more of, is cooking. So if you hate to cook, batch cook or make large batches, freeze things, take one day a week and just do a meal prep. A lot of people do that. I've done that before. I don't do a lot of that, but I just make bigger batches, so I only have to cook every 2 or 3 days. It's really not that bad. And I try not to keep a lot of keto sweets around, because if they're here, I'm going to eat them. And I stay busy. I try to stay busy, which can be difficult because sometimes you eat out of boredom. And I used to do that a lot. And I think that's what my issue was this week at work. It's the slow time of year at work. Until people get tax money back, people aren't buying cars that much, so I don't have a lot of paperwork to do. And I think being slow has caused me to want to eat more. So I have to try to work on that, not bring as much to work for snacks and things that I used to keep at work, just to have something that's not as accessible to grab and eat. Because obviously there's nothing in the snack machine at work that I can eat. I have gotten to the point where my husband and I have been drinking like Diet Cokes, Coke Zeros, things like that, because to me I feel like it's a treat, as well as feeling like I'm normal. Does that make sense? I'm eating things the way I'm supposed to, but the Coke Zero just, it's good to me. And honestly, yes, there's like aspartame in things, and then, you know, I think they've got some now that are supposed to be sweetened with stevia, but we do drink a lot of Zevias. Those sodas are great. They're sweetened with stevia. They have a ton of flavors. They taste like regular sodas. The only one we had that did not taste like regular soda was the one that was supposed to be like Mountain Dew. My husband said it tasted like Sprite. He's a Mountain Dew guy, so. And then you'll over time, you'll end up with these non-scale victories, like I just crossed my legs, you know? I do it all the time now, and I don't even think about it. And I think about before how much of a struggle it was to cross my legs, even though my legs have never been very large. I always said I was 2 toothpicks with an apple on top, because that's how my body was shaped. Round with 2 skinny legs. And that's my issue now. I still have an issue with clothes, because I still have most of my weight in the middle, so my waist is bigger than my legs. My legs are thin. But that's always going to be an issue until the stomach gets smaller than where it's at. I don't think my legs can get that much smaller, hopefully, anyway. But basically, that's my tips, that's my tricks, that's my advice. That's my first year on keto. I will never eat the standard American diet again. And I will do the best that I can to update throughout this whole process. I always do my weekly videos where I weigh in, I tell you where I'm at and if I'm up or down and how my week was and what's going on. I try to do some blog stuff every now and then. It's just, I don't want the channel to consume my life the way it does with, you know, some people. Sometimes they say it's overwhelming. It's too much to keep on. So I do what I can. I post what I can. I try to do cooking videos when I can. Check out my page. My Pinterest page has all kinds of recipes there. And just, if you have any questions, don't forget, you can always contact me. My information is below. And I hope you guys had a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.